welcome back to another NFL Hotfix video. What is this? Basically, the premise here is, what if we could apply a hotfix to your favorite team before the season starts, just for the upcoming season? We're not trying to turn things around, go crazy with a long rebuild, just do what are the major pain points that we need to address to have a successful season in the upcoming season. There we go, that's the word. Well, basically, in my opinion, one of the bigger ones here, of course, is the quarterback position. It's a little bit of a question mark. It can work for this season, but it will need to be addressed. Sam Howell is an interesting choice here. I do think that with a little bit of mentoring from Geno Smith, this could work out well. For the upcoming season, Geno Smith should be good enough. The running back group, really nice. Kenneth Walker III. We've got Zach Charbonnet. We've got Kenny McIntosh. I like all three. This is pretty good. So we'll leave that as is. Fullback, they even have a dedicated one. It's Joe Fortunato. It's very nice. 29-35. Nothing wrong here. The wide receivers looking pretty good. We've got the wide receiver number 1 and number 2. We've got Jackson Smith and Jigba here from the 2023 draft. We've got Laviska Shenault here, Dwayne Eskridge, and Jake Bobo. Both I'm not too crazy about, but I don't really care because the top 3 wide receivers here are very, very good. The tight ends, we've got Noah Fant. It works well. We've got Farrell Brown and AJ Barner. That's a rookie out of the 2024 draft. I don't think that this needs a lot of fixing. It's serviceable. It can work. On the offensive line, Charles Cross, a left tackle, looking fantastic. Michael Jarrell, that's a rookie, but 22.79, that's very good. Left guard, 31.77, Laken Tomlinson. A little bit on the older side, I know, but he should be able to work well. Anthony Bradford behind him should be able to take over at the end of the season, something like that. At center, we've got Nick Harris, 24.67, and Segun Oluwatimi. The center position is one that I feel needs some work. This is one that I don't really feel very confident about. So this is going to be one that we're going to be remembering. We've got right guard, Christian Haynes, 23.69, and Satawa Lamea, both of which are, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. The strength is nice, but everything else is horrible. 69 is not good enough. We need a decent right guard here. So center and right guard, let's remember that. And Abram Lucas here, 24.77, that works. George Fant, 31.76. All right, left edge, we've got Ramon Jones, 26.76. Decent enough for this season. This is one that I probably would draft at the end of the season. Right edge, Byron Murphy, 21.76, also solid enough. That's going to work well. D tackles, Leonard Williams, 29.84, that's good. Jerron Reed, 29.77, something that probably needs to be addressed next season. For the time being, both are going to work quite well. Left outside linebacker, Boye Mafe, 24.77, that's good. Derek Hall as a rookie from the 23 draft, of course. Mid linebacker, Jerome Baker from the Dolphins, that's nice. Tyrell Dodson and Tyrese Knight being the backups here. Right outside linebacker, Uchenna Nwosu, 26.77, and Darrell Taylor. This is a decent enough room, decent situation. The corners looking fantastic. Tarek Woolen, 24.86. Devin Witherspoon, 22.84. He was the defensive rookie of the year, so that's pretty cool. Mike Jackson, 26.75. Trey Brown. We've got R.T. Burns. We've got Nehemiah Pritchett and TJ James. There's probably potential to cut players, so that's something that I would address right now. I would probably release this dude. He's not really bringing a lot to the team, and we don't need him. Let's create some space immediately. Free safety, Julian Love, 25.83. Nice. Kobe Bryant, decent enough. And Rayshon Jenkins, 29.79. And behind him, Jonathan Sutherland. For the time being, I would say okay-ish, but that's something that needs to be addressed at the end of the season. So if we look at all that, and if we take into account what is there, what we can work with, I feel like the biggest needs currently are going to be the center and the right guard position. And then on the defensive side of things, I think it was, where was it? Let's just go back here. I think it was the strong safety. This is something that we could address as well if we find a good player to sort of learn from Rayshon Jenkins. But I think the offensive line is something that we need to buff immediately. I personally am gonna go, a hotfix doesn't always have to be pretty, but we've got two players here that are very similar in my opinion. So what I personally would do is I would be switching over Abram Lucas just for the time being over to the right guard position. He should play that spot and kind of help out over there. And then we will be fixing the right guard position as well. We now have a lot of players here, and I'm going to be putting Sataoa Laumea over onto the right tackle to learn from George Fant, and I feel like that is immediately going to help that right side on the offensive line a little bit. It's not going to fix everything, but Abram Lucas, good enough, and George Fant, good enough here. So the center is something that we need to address, certainly, and I also feel like we could do a little bit better on the defensive side. On the safety positions, it's nothing crazy. We could also take a look at the tight ends. I like Noah Fant, but you know, if we had someone with a little bit more power behind him, but because both of these are probably not going to really help us out that much. It is a scheme fit, so that's nice. But apart from that, I feel like that is the biggest need right now. All right, there we go. We're sending Oluwatimi over to the 49ers. We are also adding a few picks from the 25 and the 26 draft. Probably a lot of draft capital moving there for a temporary player. Jake Brendel is 30 years of age. We're going to see that. But for the moment, he will be starting ahead of Nick Harris. And that should really help us in stabilizing that offensive line a little bit. So there we go. This is the hot-fixed Seahawks team. We have now a vastly improved offensive line here. I really feel like that right-hand side now is super stable. We've got George Fant here. We've got Abram Lucas solidifying that right-hand side. We do have those younger players behind them to be able to learn from them. And when George Fant retires, I do think that we also have an interesting option here to either switch back Lucas and use Laumea on the inside, or just leave it as is. On the center position, we now have a solid, a very experienced player. He's 30 years of age, Jake Brendel. Behind him, we've got Nick Harris at age 24. There's not too much between them, but I do feel like this is an improvement for the stability, and also going to give some stability to this quarterback group here. Personally, I would be using Sam Howell immediately and use Geno Smith to kind of coach him from the sidelines. I love the wide receiver group. I love the running back group. I'm a little bit questioning about the fullback, but whatever. And on the tight end position, Noah Fant is really fun. We've got Brown and we've got Barner here. But the important thing is that we've got one very solid tight end. On defense, I actually didn't do a lot because I already like this group very, very much. It's a good mix between experienced players like Leonard Williams. We've got Reed sitting behind him as a backup in case something goes wrong there. Jerome Baker, Tyrell Dodson. There's really youth here, young players that will really push this team forward. We've got experience here in the shape of Rayshon Jenkins, but we can backfill here. As you can see, Jackson could take over there. That's a corner. But I think this is something that we would have to address come next season, or next off season to be precise. For the moment, this is really where I would leave it. It's solid enough as is. We've got a slightly improved offensive line, and yeah, basically this is what we will be going with. We also kind of improved it a little bit on the overalls, so there's that as well. Yeah, basically this is the end of the hotfix episode. Now hotfixing the Seahawks, they're basically done for the next season here. Let me know what you think of this format. Let me know what you would have done, which players you would have changed, how you would have dealt with the situation. Which part of the team do you think still needs some work? We might revisit this at a later date. For now, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do drop a like. Please subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks so much for joining me. Stay awesome, everybody, and see you next time.